if this will work. Sorry for the few people like that may have actually been trying to watch. I am okay. Yeah, it looks like it's working here now. I'm gonna go in and delete a couple of things. What save. Hit the back button. Yes, this is pathetic. I know you're watching later. Jump ahead if need be. I don't know how it's doing both. Because it's pathetic. Okay, well that may be all right. And after that headache, I'm going to get a Coke and be back because that was stressful. So I will be back momentarily before we get a slow and rough start to the day. Here, sort of. Maybe. I don't know. All right, let's take a look a little bit around before we start recording the episode. Okay, lots of stuff being researched. We can start creating some of these. Just looking here, developing oil fields, which will be nice. Hey OCB, how you doing? Privet Tavarsh Gamer. I am doing well. Not entirely. But is Tavarsh friend or something? I'm not good with some languages. Looking at all of the Oh, hello, comrades. Okay, cool. I like to learn things. Well, damage depends if Reich Commissariat exists. Okay, I think I'm ready to start an episode here. I have a thing or two I want to talk about here. Welcome, fellow armchair generals. This is Gamer 1745. I know you already knew all that, but hey, I gotta say it. And we are continuing our look at World Ablaze mod. Now, I'm sorry, I remember comments. I often, when I looking at comment fields, I do, like OCB is watching now. I definitely remember you know, who's around a lot, and I really do appreciate those around, but I don't always remember who made what comments. And one person, after watching some of these videos, goes, well, thank you, I was thinking about watching this, but then I was watching this and I was thinking about playing World of Blaze, but now after watching your series, it's, you know, bad history or whatever. You know, it wasn't very historical. He was looking for a good historical mod, and it wasn't, you know, fully fleshed out. Okay, well, one thing I would love for you to do, viewers, is to post any mods that you think are as historical or more historical than World Ablaze or Black Ice. I know about both of those. You don't need to tell me about those. But if you've got something that is more historical than this, and Black Ice, like I say, please let me know. This is not like saying, oh, well, this is great because there's nothing else out there that's better. No, I'm really, quite honestly, interested in if you know of something you think is more historical. Because obviously we had the sort of, the only thing I can think to call it is the wacky situation of, well, I don't know how wacky it was, but the situation of, wacky situation of Hungary and Romania going to war with each other. Now, there was real possibilities of them going to war with each other during World War II, and this is why I sort of hesitated on what to call this. And even when the Romanians were, you know, fighting in the Soviet Union, somewhat alongside the Hungarians, there was still sort of a, you know, because they've lost a lot of their, you know, territory, there was still sort of a, you know, an army at home. Now, there's an army at home in all cases in all these countries, you know, real, not just, you know, a few garrison troops and training commands. Armies don't put all their soldiers off to go fight at the front lines because shit happens. Could be an internal uprising, could be an invasion. It could be your army that's marching. You know, this I'm talking 18th century. You know, Napoleonic Wars, World War II onward. No, I like Hoi 4, so I won't comment on Hoi 4. Yeah. Oh, I understand OCB about this and Hoi 4, and sort of gets at the point that OCB is making here. You know, World War II, World War I. We'll call it the expeditionary army, the army that's going out and fighting the enemy. It can be destroyed, whether completely, you know, surrounded and completely destroyed, or just simply mangled bad enough that it's marching with what it can home. You need a backup plan, even if it's not a great backup plan. And like what happened in 1941, leading up to the Barbarossa, there's a massive earthquake in Romania. And I actually found I found the news articles in the American newspapers about it, and so I made an event covering it, in which the articles talk about how the German troops that were, because this was written before Barbarossa, were there to defend, protect, because Romania had lost these two provinces here to the Soviet Union and whatever else. Some German divisions that were there, obviously we know today that they were getting ready for Barbarossa, turned into I don't know if a search and rescue type, support. This is sort of in this sort of area where the main earthquake hit. Disaster relief unit, along with Romanian army units and whatnot, but the Germans helped out very much so. So, shit happens, and you need your armies at home. So I don't know how much it was of just simply the army that's still at home versus units that were really worried about being stabbed in the back by Hungary while the main army is out fighting the Soviet Union. But that was presented that way. And so, but what was wacky about this, and so the wacky part stands, even though, like I'm saying right now, that we could have seen a Hungarian-Romanian war. You're not going to have that when Romania is in the Axis alongside Germany. Even if Hungary was not in the Axis, you're not going to see Hungary going, oh yeah, the Germans have a strong defensive military alignment with Romania, and they're sitting all around us. Oh, and yeah, Italy's in on it and whatnot. They're not going to be picking a war with Romania over Transylvania. That just ain't going to happen. I defy anybody to really argue it seriously that that's going to happen. I guess, and I'm sitting here thinking about it, the only thing I can think of is somehow if Hungary has gone communist and is aligned to the Soviet Union, that it's going to be kicking off a general war with the Soviet Union or something. It ain't going to happen. So yeah, that ain't going to happen. And so what would happen in that case? Let's just say, for whatever reason, Hungary isn't in the Axis, whatever that means. Because and I've definitely, because I've coded it a bit for Hearts of Iron 4, but definitely for Hearts of Iron 3, coded it, forming events that forming the Axis and the sort of faction system, Is Bulgaria in the German faction, in the National Socialist faction? Is Finland? Good questions. Hey, Arno. OCB. Is Finland in the Axis in World War II? A bit of a rough start to getting streaming, but going well. Arno? Is Bulgaria in the Axis in World War II? What are your thoughts, viewers later? Because I'm going to answer. I'm going to talk about it. I don't know if I have a hard and fast agreement on or statement on it, but is it, because we use these factions and alignments for game purposes, but is it? Keeping in mind Finland is in what it considers the continuation war with, you didn't see my air quotes, with the Soviet Union, and yes, is allowing German soldiers to fight on its front, but Bulgaria was at war with the opposite. OCB, they weren't at war with the Russians, but they only were sort of, I guess, somewhat at war when Russia invades it. But it's like trying to no, we're sort of like giving up here, don't invade. But the Soviets just keep on coming. Not that they were so violent. And hello, Alejandro. Yes, you have your opinions. I don't know that they're better than mine, but cool. Um, so, Bulgaria is at war with the West, mostly because it wants this bit of Greece, particularly, in which it had at one time. Didn't, at least not modern Bulgaria, to the best of my knowledge, never really had this territory that was sort of Serbian or whatever, is breaking up from the Ottoman Empire. Invade Soviets. Well, we're going to be eventually, most assuredly, but I don't know how quickly we will be. So, Bulgaria is at war with the West. Does very little fighting. I mean, it's mostly occupying territory, sometimes outside of its claimed territory, but mostly not doing much fighting. I mean, it really, to the best of my knowledge, really doesn't do much in the invasion of Greece, and any really significant things in the invasion of Yugoslavia, and then it really doesn't do much. It protects the Jews, largely, not entirely, but at least the ones that are acknowledged Bulgarian citizens from Nazi deportation. Some of the more recently occupied territory, not so much. So they don't have like a perfect. Hey, Toy Jet. So and they're sort of fight. Their limited amount of fighters are sort of intercepting bombers to some degree, flying up to Ploesti whether from Italy or down here. But yeah, they're not doing much in the war. And Finland, who's not at war voluntarily with anybody in the West. I don't know if Britain declares war on them or anything, but the U.S. does not. So they're not at war with the U.S. And they're in their continuation war with the Soviets. And at some point, they negotiated peace terms going back to the border before the start of the continuation war. So, are they in the Axis? And I know we're talking about historical mods here. I think that territory was part of Bulgaria after the Balkans War. It very well could be, Alejandro. I'm not sure about what is sort of modern day, quote unquote, Macedonia, but that just where I definitely know at least some of this. I don't know if it quite goes over to here. My impression is that it's more just like these 3 or maybe 4 provinces. I'm really not sure about that. Again, I'm going off memory and not looking at any maps, so please. Only at war with Finland. I mean, with the Soviets, Finland was. Yeah, that's the one I knew, but I didn't know if any of the other powers declared war against Finland. So, Bulgaria has very limited aims, and in old Third Reich, the board game, it's like I think it's, and I remember this from however many years ago since I played this thing. It's like 6 hexes or something away from the Finnish border are you allowed to move Finnish troops. So even, which doesn't get them out, all even, though that's not really important there. I don't think it gets them all the way out even to the end of this peninsula. And would allow them to, and Finland did not. And this really, I don't know if this changed the outcome of the war with the Soviets, but Finland would not attack outside of this territory historically. So it never attacked Leningrad. I mean, its troops sat there and forced the Soviets to maintain defenses, but it would not assault Leningrad. So, it definitely moved a little bit more. I don't know if it would have taken Murmansk if they had been able to. But I know there was a lot more difficulty up there, but I know they weren't pushing, really pushing on Leningrad. And so now with the, Hearts of Iron and other games, Strategic Command, War Plan. Finnish troops and Bulgarian troops can go anywhere you want to send them. So when a nation comes into into the faction, which we call the tripartite pact, the Axis, whatever, they're sort of in it. And of course, with this game, where there's sort of multiple wars, which is trying to address, because Toy Jet's here from our co-op game, and very much I was trying to keep allies like Hungary and Romania out of the war that Germany's having with Japan. Yeah, that's going way crazy. And this is going to be labeled as a special episode because I'm taking a long time talking about it, not because I think it's important to talk about game design and game development and mod development here. Really sort of wacky results, trying to keep them out of that war so that they focus on fighting the Soviet Union and not fighting Japan. So yeah, and so they're sort of addressing that to some degree as to having specified wars that could be going on simultaneously, and people and nations can be in both of the wars, meaning sort of like having a war against the Soviet Union, having a war against the Western Allies, and Britain's a participant in both of the wars, kind of thing. But maybe Finland is only participating in the war with the Soviet Union, kind of thing. So when is somebody in and out of the Axis? And there was not always a clear definition with that in World War II. Hold my map. Okay. It was part of Bulgaria. Okay, very good to know. Bring it on. What are we gonna? Oak wins, mainstream. I don't know what you guys are fighting about up on the chat there. Okay, so yeah, and I know OCB's opinion is not high on Hearts of Iron 4. Now, I am greatly disappointed in Hearts of Iron 4. Why am I playing it? Well, I mean, quite honestly, a simple answer is people view me watching it. Because if viewership, which is actually really poor for World Ablaze and our co-op series, but has been good for Black Ice when I've been playing it, and very good for Total War, which I end up slamming. But so viewership there is really high, and so, but on one basis or another, if no one's going to watch me play a game, I'm going to give up playing it. I mean, what's the point of yeah, okay, a few people are hanging out. The Soviets fell with Britain, USA peace out with Germany. No, I would not. I would say no at that point. Britain was standing alone. At some point, Britain alone, if it's losing too much of its empire, would. I even whether that means the fall of Churchill as prime minister, probably. One, for just simply failure. Two, because he would not want, because he's very much of a historian. He writes lots of history, so I know he's very much of a historian. And he sees things in 18th century and Napoleonic era terms, where Britain, with its fleet, maintains long wars against nations it cannot possibly defeat, just waiting for allies to appear. So if Britain is able to maintain its empire overseas, and seas is the key term, with its navy, I think it stays in the war with Germany. But if they're losing Suez, if Iraq is invaded, if Japan is able to, because they get Burma, but they never even try to push into India, just because there is basically no infrastructure linking these two countries. So it functionally to invade India, to invade Assam, which is this part of, see, it even says it here, Assam. Let's see, Bengal, Assam. To invade Assam from Burma, or to invade Assam and whatnot, within any strength, you have to come up the rivers here. There is there was no railway connections. There is functionally no permanently functioning roads, meaning there might be dirt trails, if you will, but monsoon seasons and other things mean you can't move large amounts of supplies, meaning lots of wagons or lots of trucks, because it would destroy whatever idea of a road and turn it, like, into a swampy morass, like we see, in the Soviet Union with Rasputina, or however you pronounce it. War exhaustion would be, and depends on how much bombing. Hey, Uncharted, how you doing? Are we doing Sea Lion today? Probably not. I don't think we're ready for that. Just talking mod designs in the game, and Uncharted, who is the primary developer for this mod, one of the recent comments on one of the episodes I put up was, "I'm so glad I've watched your series. I was considering playing World of Blaze, but after watching, series, it's sees that it's I'm paraphrasing here because I don't get it. Not very historical, and I'm going to use the term half-assed, or not well done, and my question, and this is going to end up being a special episode, is, do you know of a more historical mod? And yes, it's mainly done by one person, and who is continually trying to improve it, so it isn't, solid or 100% done. So, and we're sort of been talking about the wackiness of independent Hungary attacking Axis ally Romania and starting a stupid war, and that just cannot be excused as being anywhere near reality. And so my question to the viewers for this episode is, can you, other than World of Blaze and Black Ice, can you point to a more historical mod, or as historical a mod out there? Please let me know. I want to know. Gamer convinced me to do the unbelievable and make the automod reduce fatigue. Oh, wow. How interesting. And I hope it isn't just me convincing it. I hope I'm presenting the historical facts, and that convinces you on those. But so yeah, this is wacky, and I know from comments that Uncharted really didn't think that this should happen, this, results of this, having this war. So, and this is this whole talk, is it's very hard to mod things and try to predict all the possibilities, what the AI is going to do, what human players are going to do unexpectedly, and how that might lead into things. So I'm not blaming Uncharted for this war, like some people may be. I'm seeing it as an unfortunate side effect of things, and hopefully they will continue to be worked on to not. You said, so I approve, just like the one. Yeah, and I did, thank you, Uncharted, and I did make sure that I used the legacy version to start this, because we're still on 5.6. So I did get that one right this morning. Yes, and I know Uncharted is trying to do the most historical possible mod. So see, this is, this is important. Is why I'm looking at this mod, and I think it deserves a lot more publicity, a lot more community awareness, because it is really trying to be this. And this is long sort of talking segment, getting a lot of stuff off my chest, I guess. And it's why I think people like, and it can also be various, why some of the stuff happened might have been that I did not pursue align hungry and whatnot fast enough. So it, and I didn't get them into the axis. So I don't know if it's some of the choices I made that influenced it. But what I think a lot of the people that object to Hearts of Iron 4 is not, not that they like it entirely, big giant men marching around the battlefield, or some of the other game mechanics that way. What they really object to is like what's happening with our co-op game, in where Germany is at war with Japan because and wacky peace settlements and other things like that. That's what they object to at its core with Hearts of Iron 4. And it's Hearts of Iron 3 is much better, much more historical. Not maybe up to some people's. And some people, in my opinion, is too rigid, because as those of you who were here, but talking about how I do think that Hungary and Romania very well could have gone to war in this period, but not, as I said, not when Romania is a member of the Axis. So having Germany as a strong ally who would come in on its side, but had, say, Hungary been in the Axis, Romania refusing to be in the Axis, Romania refusing to give up some or all of Transylvania, then yes, I could see. Not saying it's likely or for sure would happen, but I could see that as a reasonable outcome of those going to war with each other at this time period, because we see not so much, it's not like a declared public declaration of war, but we see Hungary attacking Czechoslovakia. I'm using that term specifically after the Sudetenland is taken away from Czechoslovakia. It basically invades and takes this territory, which I've covered in some events. And so now it's like, I think less than 60 people died total, both sides, and any civilians get attacked. And so it's just sort of a minor fighting skirmish warfare going on, that Germany sort of steps in and sort of forces Czechoslovakia to formally give up basically this slice of land right along the border, which did have a real mixed population as to whether it was mostly Slovak as opposed to Czech, or Magyar, or Hungarian, however you want to say it. So from the population standpoint, it was disputed territory. And of course, Poland grabs off this bit of territory a bit later. But so, and if not quite all of this, some of the border, they grab some of the border here. They later grab, with the breakup of Czechoslovakia, Hungary grabs these mountains, the Carpathians. So you definitely see real fighting. I mean, it was minor skirmishes, but it was real fighting, and military soldiers coming across borders during this time period by Hungary. And so that can be a very real thing. So I could see a Hungarian-Romanian war, but not when Romania is in the Axis. Please give us a stream of... Oh, yes, thank you, Arno. Take a big chunk of Romania, if that. Yeah, that's sort of what you know, they've already grabbed up this at the time. This hasn't happened, maybe because they're in the Axis already, which is a reasonable thing, but still, these two provinces here, back to Bulgaria, which they had been before World War One started. So, you know, we can definitely see Bulgaria probably would have moved in and to try to, you know, maybe not necessarily, well, maybe try to get Bucharest. I don't know. You would definitely, well, with the Ribbentrop-Molotov Pact in place, and quite honestly, just I know for a fact, Estonia and Latvia, not Lithuania, but Estonia and Latvia and Finland were in the Soviet sphere. I don't know the details of what was dealing with Romania as part of that, and whether, you know, Ploiești, Bucharest would have been considered in the German sphere, and, you know, sort of in having Hungary as their sort of proxy. If the Soviets would have come across this border, I have a feeling they would not without German permission. That's just a feeling. Always note my language whenever I'm talking about things. Sometimes, you know, I know things, sometimes I think things, sometimes I feel things. Always note that. Because if I don't know, I'm going off of my thoughts or my feelings. Where and what levels of forts you get with the Atlantic Wall focus? Well, okay, we can quickly look at that. Our Atlantic Wall here. Okay, it just it unlocks decisions, in which we will then look and see. So that's cool. Now, you know, I like this Uncharted. I really, really like this. This is one of my biggest, I mean, not what you're doing is correct, in my opinion, is good. Not maybe correct, but good. Is that what I dislike about Hearts of Iron 4 is press button, wait 70 days, because they have shortened a few national focuses, but basically wait 70 days and get result. I don't like that. I like this. This is good. It's giving me decisions, either decisions or a pop-up event, which you still can do, I believe. I haven't gone in and coded anything recently, I mean, for this. And just saying the way I would do it, which is different than... I'm not saying there's a right way and wrong way. What I'm saying is the way I would make this setup is have, you know, decisions or events that would start building the Atlantic Wall. It would take, from the decision time to start building it, it would take time. And then you would get a level of fortifications and I sort of appreciate it. It's in regions. Is you get your levels of fortifications with costs, to have costs to doing it, and then have follow-on events or decisions to upgrade, make stronger the Atlantic Wall, because the mere fact that you throw up some fortifications, you know, quickly, let's say 6 months, okay, do you continue for another year, another 2 years, continually, and into what level are you strengthening it? That is the way, because it was explained to me by Podcat, you know, the main dev for Hearts of Iron 4. Unlike using, because they didn't have the decisions back then even, and I was sort of arguing for decisions and more events, he goes, well, this is for players to figure out. Now, this is, of course, a lot more complicated than what they've developed But if they go, oh, well, I want to build the Atlantic Wall, well, they can look up this chain of events, what it takes to get there. Now, I don't know, that meaning, well, and there is the bypass mechanic, of course, that bypasses things. So if this gets bypassed, that's fine, of course. But I'm just looking at, if for somehow you're at war with France and conquer France and own France, and then, well, what if you're not? Okay, yeah, and this is the problem with this type of things. These type of things, you have bases in France required, and Uncharted. Hello, Flump Sonsensa. I'm sorry, I'm butchering that, I'm sure. As Germany is stronger than America in this game in general. It shouldn't be. Hello, Doku. How you doing? I wouldn't say so. America is generally stronger. And because here's the problem with this general system and this specific situation. Okay, you got to build bases in France. Well, fine. But what if you haven't? I mean, I'm just going from a developer situation. You're throwing in, German and Benelux wall and Norwegian wall. Is it likely that you're owning Norway and getting ready to build a wall there? Just defensive positions without the French coast? No. I could see the possibility. The likelihood, no. So I don't know. I mean, because I can always dig deeper into coding these things and what ifs these things. But yeah, I'm not. This isn't a complaint or should be done different. I do like the wave and the shield. Uncharted has made a lot of these, if not all of the unique ones. I just don't know if somebody's contributed some. I do like the icon for that. I don't have a real problem with it. But so the idea is if you want to do, if you want to get to approach Turkey, I could argue, I don't know why alliance with Finland is required to approach Turkey. And you can just throw national focuses off somewhere that aren't, would have conditions like you're not at war with Turkey, you are at war with the Soviet Union, whatever, and just have a national focus somewhere that doesn't require specific chain to get there. That would be just because I'm looking here now and I don't see a single thing, and I could be wrong, single thing that is not part of the chain other than, of course, these, generic, can let them run at any time, national focuses. I could see an approach, just I don't know why it's tied to these two Scandinavian or Nordic or whatever, however you want it, because I don't know how you want to classify Finland, is to approach Turkey. You could approach Turkey while you're at peace with Germany. Absolutely. But I wouldn't have them actually get into an alliance unless particular conditions are met. But yeah, I could easily just see, sticking off, in an area that people would be able to find them because they're looking for, political decisions that just have conditions for a national focus, but don't have, you got to do a bunch, get down there. But so the idea is if you want to get to the Ribbentrop-Molotov Pact, you have a path to get there. And I like that. That is what I like. Then I like the idea that, like this Atlantic Wall, it opens up decisions. I like it a lot. That it opens up decisions that then you have to decide on if you want to do them, They may take happen in stages and all of that. So I really, really like that. And yeah, trust me, I'm not here to. Oh, Henry. Let's get cores for Alsace-Lorraine and Northern/Schleswig. Yes, I think we're talking about. Cores are an interesting concept here in this game. Generally speaking. Because we are talking about a compressed time period compared to most other paradox strategy games, we don't want to have conquer instant control. In most cases, you do have situations where here's Luxembourg. You do have Luxembourg. Luxembourg gets fully integrated into the Reich. And when I say that, I mean it. They get, I think it's like 600 or so volunteers. True. Hey, yeah, I want to join the Wehrmacht. Very early on, even before Luxembourg is integrated into the Reich. Their steel industry, which they, for the size of the nation, has a significant, and it's here, 25, a significant steel industry. They don't really make anything other than steel, meaning they're not like turning out cars or tanks or whatever. Hello, Marcel or Fritz? Which makes no sense, like Luxembourg or Alsace, German-speaking region. And so Germany does specifically annex, bring into Luxembourg, and basically gives everybody German citizenship. And, of course, drafts all people as, I was going to say men, but also women as into various organizations, not necessarily into the military. But Luxembourg gets fully integrated into the Reich. And to the best of my knowledge, it was never part of, the German Empire, other than maybe during World War I, and I'm not even sure the status of. I know it was occupied by the Germans, but I don't know what politically was done during World War I to Luxembourg. So you definitely have sort of Alsace-Lorraine, which had been in German territory, though a lot of French-speaking people there during that time period, and of course a lot of the Germans sort of flee when the French get into power. So cores allow you to have better situations and see this is set up. This I don't agree with. This I very much agree with. This is done right in that it's its own thing. I don't know. I just don't know whether it's better for some of these to be sort of occupied or whether to set up Reich commissariats for them. Because, and I know this is going, I hope it's interesting. And I'm looking at, because in the East, or I mean the West, they're generally not called Reich commissariat. It's mostly used in the East, but if you're just needing a generic term. What you find in, say, Ukraine, Reich commissariat, the Baltic states, Reich commissariats, a fully, or a government set up by the Germans that may include individuals that were part of the former Soviet governance of it. and mostly the Baltic states not, that set up a government that is supposed to be internally run by locals with local police and minor military capabilities. So these are, if you will, collaborationist states or future independent or future puppet states in the East here. Okay. So you have the Schutzmannschaft, which, they are a paramilitary type group, can be categorized as, internal. They're internal security, shall we say. But they're internal security with machine guns, in that they're ready to fight partisans, but they're not ready to go fight on the front line. Now, they end up either being disbanded and the personnel moved into other units, or simply those units end up fighting on the front lines because, hey, they're losing and the Soviets are pushing west. But in, say, the Netherlands and Belgium, you have a different situation. You have a hostile government continuing to run and operate, which are often, maybe most often, staying away from any sort of anti-partisan fight. So if, there's partisans over in that building, the policeman's going to go, the local Dutch policeman, really now? I hadn't noticed. Oh, the Germans are here to fight them. Okay, you can go fight the partisans. And the Dutch or the Belgian police officer will stand around and watch the Germans fight the partisans. But he ain't going to pull out his gun and shoot at the partisans. He's probably maybe not happy that the partisans are doing shit during occupied times, because that just, he may see them as doing, disrupting local harmony, causing problems. And it isn't going to solve anything. But he ain't going to go out and, it's not even so much risk his life. He ain't going to go out and fight people that he may sort of agree with, in spirit, in the idea of, hey, yeah, it would be best if the Germans weren't here. He may be disagreeing. I'm not saying, because obviously it ranges from person to person, disagreeing with their idea of being partisans right now, but he's not disagreeing with their ultimate objectives. Now, you do have collaborationists specifically, in these countries that are sort of, SS type organizations, some that are, the Waffen-SS, but also local SS organizations forming that are fighting the partisans. But these are an extreme minority. And so you have the situation where, now the policeman, if someone is, help, somebody's in my home, trying to steal something, because there was crime going on, because I was obviously criminals as well as desperate people, and the police would come in and help the local citizen with whatever criminal kind of thing. Interesting case, there was and I'm not, because I just don't like going into the subject, but there was a serial killer who was a Frenchman, a doctor, if I remember correctly, who killed, 100 or more people. Weird situation. In France during this time, and it was a weird serial killer thing going on. But so the police would like to deal with one of the reasons he was sort of able to do, because he was disappearing his victims. People weren't sure that these disappeared people, whether the Germans had taken them for some reason, that they might have been thought of as collaborationists or whatever. So people were disappearing and maybe being reported as, hey, my wife didn't come home or something. Well, the local French police are not sure, yeah, okay, your wife is missing. We don't know what happened to her. The Germans may have took her, kind of thing. We don't know. We'll make inquiries, but, so it sort of gotten hidden in the war. But so you have a non-cooperative, shall we say, or minimally cooperative would be the best term, political and enforcement apparatus in these regions. So you have, in essence, German military direct occupation necessary. I'm thinking primarily here in, Bena, without the Lux. So I don't know that Reich Commissariats, as my understanding as the game mechanic, is appropriate here, appropriate in the in Norway, maybe, or more appropriate here in Denmark to a degree, but because Denmark is another one of these. Is it in the Axis or is it not in the Axis? I don't think formally declares war on the Soviet Union, but joins the second anti-Comintern pact and sends troops to go fight in the Soviet Union that end up being sort of forced into the SS, or the Waffen-SS, or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, are they in the Axis or not? Or are they with the Allies or not? And their government, their king and whatnot is all free and still functioning, and their army still. Now, see, here's a case in which the army is largely still in existence. I think disarmed of heavy weapons, but still have all their rifles in their, barracks to march out at moment's notice. But they're not, and some barracks I do believe are taken over by the Germans. So. But it's largely the army still there, so you could argue the Reichskommissariat under sort of special rules for Denmark. And so, I don't know that, this. Now, here, of course, the one thing that is different than the actual Reichskommissariats with the general government is there is no local Polish police or, no, there is some local police, sorry. Yes, there are some local police. But there is no paramilitary police and no armed forces that are Polish. I mean, there may so they're purely relying upon imported German units to operate in here. Yes, Luxembourg had freedom during its occupation. Okay, very interesting. Okay, I didn't know just the status during its World War. Till today, most people living in Essen still are German. Okay. Hello, Sebastian. Hello again. From Sonsensa. I think I'm going to stay with Sonsensa because I can maybe pronounce that halfway. So yeah, I'm not, because we are limited, and I do understand with game mechanics. Western countries, I'm not sure that I think is best. Now, of course, you can make decisions other than historical decisions. But, so yeah, the mechanics here are still such that I think this should be integrated into Germany. Whether they get the cores or not, that's another question. But, yeah. So those are just my thoughts on all of this. I know that went long, so this will be a special episode, and I will be making another episode in which we actually play the game. I'm sorry, everyone. I know I just sometimes get to where I want to talk about things in game development and history and whatnot. So thanks, everyone, for putting up with all of this, if you made it this far. Okay, yeah, I'll be recording another episode here. And this time we're actually going to play a game. Welcome back, fellow armchair generals. This is Gamer 1745 here. Actually, this time continuing playing Hearts of Iron 4 with World Ablaze mod, a mod that has not gotten its proper due, in my opinion. And if you didn't watch the last episode in which I talk about some of the changes, Uncharted, the developer, has assured me that what happened with Hungary won't be happening in their currently released version of the game. Now, as a few in chat while we're making this live, has encouraged me to invade the Soviet Union. Well, look at the calendar, people. October 41. That is not the time to invade Soviet Union. You either need to do it earlier or wait until next year. So we're going to wait until next year to do so. So we are going to continue our push here in Africa, because that is a reasonable thing to do. Okay, we like the air base. Okay, 200 airplanes. So do we have a lot of extra planes now or not? I forget. Okay, we do have a fair number. I'm just wondering whether I should move. Yeah. Oh, well, we got fighters. Yeah, we'll move. Well, we'll form a fighter unit and move it down here and put them up there to cover the air over this region. Let's see more how our air war is going here. Okay. Since we no longer really need to operate there, we will send them down to here. Hello, Eric. What of the Croatian state? Yeah, Croatia is really hard to do because Croatia is formed, absolutely. But even before it's formed, is my understanding, but either before or after it is formed, Croatia is jointly administered by Italy and Germany. And basically, you can draw a line sort of right through here of Yugoslavia. And if you're on this, it's almost like as if they took a ruler to the map. On the ground, it's probably not quite as a straight line, but it's almost like they took a ruler to the map. And I think they very well may have done. And divided Yugoslavia's occupation up between the Germans and the Italians. Now, the Italians definitely claimed the Dalmatian coast and work to integrate it into the Italian Empire. If you're talking a little bit more internally, like this area, I believe, would have been part of Croatia, that is under Italian occupation, the Italians are standing up, equipping, training Croatian units that ostensibly, or at least the promise is, that it's going to be part of a Croatian state. Though whether Mussolini in his mind is thinking that he's eventually going to integrate it into the empire, whether as a client state or as a fully integrated part of the new Roman Empire, or not. And the Germans are, well, some of this other area. Now the Germans get it's really hard looking at the map of that, do get this sort of Slovenia here, that they actually eventually hold a plebiscite, and it actually, I don't know how free and fair it is, but they hold a plebiscite that they vote to join Germany officially. 42, 43, somewhere like that. I'm not sure exactly. I know I made an event on it. So part of this is, directly into Germany. But Zagreb, as part of Croatia, that isn't occupied by Hungary, that is sort of supposed to be, again, an independent state, at least internally, and is set up and administered and trained by the Germans. Now, you have to understand with Hitler, and I know we were going to play gameplay, but blame Airy. Well, have a good day. So Sensa. Yes, the Ustashi. Yes. That Hitler's philosophy, he hates the Habsburg Empire, the Austro-Hungarian Empire. He hates it with a passion. What he hates about it is that it is a multiracial, multicultural, and he sees it in racial terms, but multicultural, multiracial empire. He hates that. He likes exclusion. He likes segregation. So I don't know what his thoughts were on Croatian peoples in his weird racial hierarchy nonsense, but I don't think he hates like the Hungarians for being, just because they're part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire, or necessarily thinks they're not Aryans, so they're not quite as good as. Well, yeah, I don't think he thinks of them as Aryans, but I don't think he thinks of them as subhumans either, but they're not, his elite super people or whatever. But he doesn't hate Hungarians or doesn't hate Croatians, but he doesn't want them inside intermixing with his German Empire. So if they're going to exist, they're going to have their own territory. So Hitler does not, unlike where Mussolini is trying to rebuild the new Roman Empire, and is not trying to make, say, Africans into new Italians. Now, so Mussolini is trying to make a multi-ethnic empire. Now he is trying to, seed Italian colonies around his empire for sure, but Mussolini doesn't have a general problem with the idea of, especially if they're willing, a bunch of Croatians, which are Catholics, coming into his empire. That he's good with. Hitler, on the other hand, does not want that happening. Now, they may be a subject or client state that's separate, with Germany as an overlord, but he doesn't want them as part of Germany. And so this is always sort of the defining thing, and we go back to the last episode where we're looking at it. Hitler sees Denmark and the Netherlands as potential Aryan inclusivity in Germany if they were to become German, meaning they're racially good enough, but they've got to give up their silly habit of either speaking Danish or Dutch. They've got to become Germans. He doesn't want ethnic, even if they're racially close enough, he doesn't want ethnic minorities within his state. Then Himmler's a different idea. So whenever you're looking at this stuff, you can see Himmler's viewpoints. You can see, but Hitler's viewpoints is, yeah, maybe the Dutch, but they've got to become German. They don't get to remain Dutch and be part of Germany, part of the Reich. So either they're going to be their own state. Again, it might be a puppet or a client state, or it might be an independent state because, hey, look, Hitler doesn't fear Denmark. So Denmark might be able to go independent at some point. Okay, yeah, hey, fine. You're independent. You do what you will. Now, we know you can't build a big navy. We know you can't build a big army, so you're never going to be a threat to us. And if you ever decide to go to war with us, we'll crush you. We may crush you badly once we have nukes. We may just nuke your country. But he may be just fine with the idea that they go into, truly independent because he doesn't fear them. Now he might fear, of course, an independent Russia because it may steamroller him, but he doesn't fear Denmark. The storm is coming. Hey, Thomas. The big god emperors like small client nations out. Their border is convenient. Yes, they do. The storm is coming. Lower left. Don't know. Lower. Oh, you're talking here. The weather. Yes, I do like. My biggest complaint is the weather situation in Strategic Command. I do like the weather models here for Hearts of Iron. They do so much better than any other game in putting the weather into the game, and it has real effects. So yeah, back to gameplay. Okay, we are trying to get. We've captured a British operative, Nancy Haig. Snow. Okay, guys. We need more units down here. get on board the train. Excuse me. Okay. You guys are going to come down and let's come down to here. I think you'll move faster via ship than that. You love, yeah, well, it's in strategic command, if you have rain or snow, you don't have air operations. Not where I like better in war plan, where you have rain, which is bad air operations, and you have double rain, which is much rarer, and which is no air operations. So I like that there's a middle ground at times for it. So at times it can be really bad that it stops all air operations. Other times it's just disrupts them some. Okay, you support that attack while staying right where you were at. Okay, he's already retreated out of there, so you're going to come here. Advanced infrastructure, very nice. Yes, I have learned that I am an infrastructure first player. Then other things. Okay, we were in 42. And I really do appreciate Uncharted's nice air tree. Okay, we want I want a lot of things. Don't know how important flak is going to be in the game. Okay, well, yeah, we need to do this. Do things like encryption, espionage, and also radar sonar technology play a role in grade strategy games? Yes. Well, in this game, it most certainly does. Encryption, very much. Encryption and decryption. Radar, for at least ground radar. I don't know about airborne radar, if it is. I just quite honestly don't know. But ground radar does have a real effect on air operations. We can turn all of the radars. I need to build some more radars out here. And also, radar will help with naval operations and locating enemy units, because there's an interception element to these games, as well as a avoidance, not being intercepted if you don't want to be kind of thing. So yeah, thank you, that's helpful. Can you equip ships with, yes, there are, well, let's come over here. Now this is just a particular mod, not the whole game itself. But we can see here, and so they moved it to here. We have basic fire control systems. Where do we have radar? Do we have shipboard? I think we do somewhere. We have sonar for, different levels of sonar for anti-submarine operations that will affect every second radar tech. Okay. Improves, yes. Okay, so you can see here the effect of 1939 improves decimetric naval search radar. So that will help ships as well as building radar stations. So yeah, you have a lot of those kind of technologies in this. In many ways, Hearts of Iron 3 and 4 is way out better than any other grand strategy World War II game that exists to my knowledge. In other ways, it's crap. And this mod is attempting to address the crap. The crap is in its very unhistorical elements, very unhistorical elements of, like, things that can happen and whatnot. Okay, you come this way. You come this way. Okay, now we have. Let's bring in. Yeah, we can bring in 100 of these guys. And so there are a lot of reasons that people go, hell no, I'm going with strategic command instead of this. And I fully understand why, or war plan, just some of the stuff, it does bother me. Like I say, Uncharted 2, still maybe in chat, is the main developer, is really trying to make it historically based. Oh, do we have Stukas here? Is it past them? Or do I because whether I make a new squadron group, or do I just, oh yeah, I've got 500 of course, or do I send an existing one down? Okay, so Stukas, come down here and then do that. Naval bombers, you come out here and naval bomb once you get there. You come down here, you go after anything flying, and you come down here and do ground attack. Yeah, so we need to look here. Okay, well, let me turn, I'll just use, can be annoying. Okay, we are rushing to get some more oil because we're having oil problems. But let's, I still hate the state mechanic. +1, so it'll build it a bit quicker. Let's get it to there. That will help us to get better radar coverage. Yeah, no game is perfect. I know that. We all know that. Okay, you get onboard ships, so let me click here. And then click. Well, how far south do I want to go? Risk though. We'll risk it. We'll send you straight down into there. With all this air that I'm putting up over the ocean, hopefully I'm dealing with enemy subs and ships. I would, my favorite, because all of these games have good things to offer, the three that Thomas K put up there, but my favorite is still Hearts of Iron 3 with Black Ice and the other sub mods. That is still my favorite. That is still the best, in my opinion. They're making equipment, producing rifles, producing tanks, and then training units that are filled with rifles and tanks is a great advancement over 3. But there's still some elements of 3 plus more in-depth modding, more in-depth other things, still make that game stand out as the best for me. Strategic Command, I like Warplan better, and I stream for both. I know the devs on both teams. I mean, they're small dev teams. Warplan is basically just one guy, Alvaro, and Strategic Command is basically 2 guys, Bill and Herbert. I know both these guys, and I for Slytherin I stream both of their games, so Strategic Command for me does World War I mechanics better than it does World War II mechanics. Warplan addresses my major issues with Strategic Command, though, and I've not played the most recent versions of it because there's been a lot of development, just because I'm slowly playing through my Well, not the most original game. I did have a restart in there, but playing through it. So it has improved from what I've seen, but where Strategic Command had gone through sort of original Strategic Command versions and then the more recent current ones a few years later, it's had much longer development time than Warplan. So Strategic Command in some ways is better developed. Warplan is still in its very early days. I think it will have a longer life. Now, Strategic Command, they can up their game and whether adopt some of the elements of Warplan or something I don't know, or I don't know, or maybe they're they don't tell me things. So yeah, so I would add in Hearts of Iron 3. War in the East and War in the West are not grand strategy. They are strategic potential games because I have only played War in the East. I have not played War in the West. I have not played, partially because I just don't have them, and I've not played War in the Pacific. But if you're playing War in the East, you're not making all the production decisions. You're not making all of the greater strategic decisions, and so it's just sort of focus on what was. Now, if you just want to say fight the Eastern Front with what the game feels is appropriate for you to have, that it's a very great game for doing that. But it's presuming the rest of the war is happening and you're not part of its command decision elements. So War in the East and War in the West, and also War in the Pacific, those are more focused theaters, and those are theater operations. And they're great for that, trust me. And they're working on War in the East too right now, as we speak. Well, maybe not Saturday here, but you know what I'm talking about. Thanks, Arno. And Gary agrees with War in the East and Pacific are my favorite strategy, but you guys already know that. But I'm just keep always LCB, keep putting in what you think, because because I want people who will watch this later, and there will be people who watch this later, will definitely get your feedback, because I want people to find the game that is best for them. That is my goal and objective for games, if you will. Now, of course, I want to make good, entertaining videos that you all want to watch, for sure. Okay, well, we're doing that appropriately. Got radius, got reconnaissance. 100%. Sort of ignoring those for a while. Yeah, we could do that, I guess. Hello, Mason Hilton. How you doing? And so I've yet to find the game that makes me stop playing other games. Meaning, I'm only going to play one from now on because it meets all of my needs or anything like that. That has not happened. Okay, so those guys are mostly not occupying anything. They can go there. Okay, here is my mountain corps. You join my mountain corps. My mountain army. Yes, winter is coming. And yes, I get the reference. Okay. Okay, you march there just to occupy that. You guys come down to here. Okay, so what we want to do, you want to come down to here. You want to attack there. That looks like it's going to be successful, so let's see if you can push down again to Khartoum. We were there before. But we moved our... fell back a bit and moved our attack over to free up the Italian front there. Ah, sure, Arno. Okay, an inclusive naval battle there. They sunk one of a Romanian convoy there. Inconclusive operations there. Out here, okay, again, inconclusive air operations. And we sunk a convoy out there. We are trying to build up our naval presence, or our sub presence again. Let's look at production of ships. Oh, and we may be wanting to change over some of things. Okay, Brittany. Sounds like we're talking about some pop star, but okay. Let's see. Yeah, we're good efficiency, but we'll go to the pack, which we lose a lot, and I figured we were. Okay, we're on the Emile. Okay, we have big production, small production line here. We're going to move small production line over to the F model because that, well, that wasn't that big of a downplay. That's pretty easy. Okay. Well, you know, I think we'll also do this over to the F line as well. Okay, artillery. This would be that, yes. Okay, we'll get that over to there. All right, okay, good. Type 9 submarines. Okay, we have Atlantic Wall. Okay, well, what are we currently, yeah, we are just a Type 7. We'll see about that next free research slot. Okay, so we have our Atlantic Wall. Eastern Lebensraum, Insignia, prepare Barbarossa. Well, okay, 7 days. I'm going to wait on that. Fate of Greece. "14 days, fully independent." Well, we are sort of at peace with Greece because Greece doesn't really exist, so I don't know what... Oh, is it okay? At war with Greece. Oh, is it war? Greece has capitulated. Okay. Okay, Greater Albania becomes controller of that. Okay, we will. I think we'll go with this. Just 14 days. All right. Okay, so we pushed into there. They're still pushing there. These guys are coming south. Hopefully we'll make it past any British operations.
Zuhören.
Level of forts, right, yes. Okay, we do have the decisions for the Atlantic Wall here. I think so many, lot to scroll through. Where yeah, I'm just being blind, I think. Okay, Norwegian Wall. Okay, for 90 days use, okay, place a coastal fort in each of the following Atlantic coastal states. So it looks like one coastal fort level for Norway, Benelux wall. Okay, well, well, it doesn't specifically say coastal forts, but I don't know if it's one or more. 90 days, use 5 civilian factories. Okay, well, we'll build the French wall right now. We have the political power. German Reich called Iceland as our ally in the German Luxembourg. Oh! Britain has declared war on Iceland for some reason uncharted, I don't know. I do know the British did occupy Iceland, and then turn it over to the USA once the USA was sort of in it. I don't know that that would constitute a declaration of war and invasion as opposed to just an event happening. Yes, leave Brittany alone, yes. Okay, and we have... Hey, Van Bishop! How you doing today? We could use better ground attack. Stukas. We are testing out a mod that is trying to make Hearts of Iron 4 historical, which is a big task. Okay, we're losing some German convoys. Hopefully our ships will make it here, carrying our, because we're this pseudo pocket is having problems. Iceland has capitulated. Okay, I don't know that having an event that gives Iceland to the Allies, that's cool, but you come up, guard the air base. Oh, we want to give you guys to Papa Ha. Oh. No, panzers aren't the best for mountains. I do know that. Okay, so National Fleet of Greece. Okay. You come here, you keep coming to there. Oh, they've got our air base. So that's forced our troops away. I've not played the Stony Road mod for Hoi 3, so I don't know that one. I have heard the name, but I don't know it beyond that. Now, by next spring, I do want to be ready to go to war with the Soviet Union. Yeah, we can do that 21 days. Okay, Khartoum is ours again.
Ausrücken! Achtung!
Looks like they have air superiority because we just lost our air base. We've lost that one, damn. trying to get you guys.
Ihre Befehle? Ausrücken!
You come there before you can
Angetreten!
support that attack. I think from there, yes.
Angetreten!
One of you start attacking. No, two of you start attacking the British there.
Zuhören! Bereit! Achtung!
Come on, we need our air bases back. Oh, I have not played Hearts of Iron 2. I did not find Hearts of Iron until Hearts of Iron 3 was
Ihre Befehle!
out. So I do own some of the better sort of DLC type, you know, versions of it, the Darkest Hour and things like that, but I've never played them.
Angetreten!
Come on, guys, get the air bases back.
Angetreten!
Well, you failed to take that.
Angetreten!
You come to here. Okay, we now have our air bases back. Where did our air go? Our air probably went up to here. Oh, over to here. Okay. Yeah, you come back down to here. You come back down to here. You come back down to here. A bit. See if we get this other air base. Siam joins the Greater East Asian Co-Prosperity Sphere. Another inconclusive. Is a mother of all games. Very good, OCP.
Angetreten!
Okay, you guys are marching into there. Good. You're coming into there as well. Very good.
Bereit!
One go that way. One go this way. Get on the other side of the river.
Zuhören!
Motorize. I think we can move quicker that way.
Achtung!
Is it change the diplomatic statuses? Cancel the lend lease. Fine, fine. You were sending us some equipment. That was nice, but I think we'll be okay. Reestablish Jaeger training.
Befehle?
Okay, let's attack here.
Bereit zum Ausrücken!
Their support.
Ihre
All
Befehle?
of. Well, actually, you
Ausrücken!
invade attack. And You push into there.
Zuhören.
You come down to here. You come down to
Ihre Befehle.
here. Yeah, I hear good things about Darkest Tower. Like I say, I have not played it. I can't comment on it. I own it because I just bought it cheaply on one sale or another. No, he sunk a submarine. Very good. Okay. Let's. So are we back to here? No, we can't get you back there yet. Damn, I want to get air operations down here going again. I didn't mean to lose the airbase. This silly Italians couldn't do their jobs. Okay,
Ihre Befehle.
oh good, they've abandoned. Up to there. Nice.
Zuhören.
I don't know if there's any. Oh, let's check out research here. Okay, better engineers we got. That's nice. Well, let's reduce our mechanical problem potential, so we'll spend the extra and push it faster. Okay, well,
Bereit.
infantry, you go there just to deal with that.
Achtung.
Motorized forces, you come down
Ihre Befehle.
this way.
Angetreten.
Yeah, let's push into Addis Ababa. There we go. Flank around that way.
Ihre Befehle.
You march down there to occupy the territory. Japan declared war on the Philippines. Oh, that's super useful. December, yes, 1941. Okay,
Ausrücken.
attack there. There we go. Super, super useful. Now, since we're not in a faction with Japan, does that mean the US is coming to war with us? Or not? Okay, well, we lost a submarine to air operations. 2 more submarines to air operations. Inconclusive. Ah, we killed a convoy. Killed another French convoy. Okay. Very nice. Now, here is our airbase. Now, what do we have? Okay, we have some 110s out there operating, which helps deal with the air, of course. Let's see, can we add to that? Do we have more 110s available? We got lots of meals, that's for sure. That looks like about it. We have lots of meals. That's the E model. Okay, only the Bay of Biscay, but we will still put you up there to attempt to control there. And let's do yes. I think just out to here because we have air cover, so anti-shipping operations. And 100 fighters we'll put up over Normandy just to make sure we're controlling that air region as well. We're back to here yet? No, come on, get in there. There's a mod converter from Victoria to Hoi 2 that I played, so it's pretty cool. But it was crazy unstable like Britney Spears in the early 2000s. Yeah. I get the idea of people wanting to play EU 20th century is sort of what I call it. It's not a bad idea. It's just really complicated because things change, not just technology changes, so people change. Okay, we've done the. Let's do the mountain warfare. Oh, we let it take 51 days. And people change because of the changing in technology. And by things like that, I mean, oh, there we are. You've got nationalism because you have newspapers and radio and television. And you come up, operate over there once you get down there. And there we go. So it's cool. Build up a nation from, and then converts, so you can convert to 36, but you could barely play a month without crash 4 times. Yeah, the stability issues, I'm used to dealing with those. That they are a real thing. With games and mods. Okay, they're going to walk into there. You guys keep marching down this way. You drive back down this way. You counterattack to relieve their pressure a bit. So, enemy agent turn. Oh no, this is a good thing. Enemy agent turn. Our counterintelligence service has achieved a major success following the extensive interrogation, and upon being informed of her likely fate, she has changed with espionage. Okay. Declaration of war against the United States. Why? Why, Uncharted? Why? The United States is at war. It will only be a matter of time before they join the Allies and are at war with us. By preempting that declaration, we and we are something surprised the United States. That needs some sort of editing. Off balance and reinforce the fact that we are world historical figure of destiny. Yeah, okay, that needs an editor. I don't understand the second half of that sentence. Why? Okay, Japan is guaranteeing the independence of other nations. Independence of Japan is guaranteed by other nations. I don't know that if I specifically guaranteed. I don't remember. Maybe I did in something. I don't know. Where do we find this? Okay, anti-Comintern pack. Maybe that's what they're talking about. That could be. But that's just anti-Comintern pack. Yes, Adolf did declare war. Absolutely. But Japan was already a member of the Tripartite Pact. We haven't done the Tripartite Pact. And we didn't go so far as to like befriend China. Well, I don't know that anti-Comintern and befriending China are necessarily mutually exclusive. You have done it. Yeah, the anti-Comintern pack. It's a Japanese focus. Okay, well. Okay, so. It's a Japanese focus. Well, okay. But they're not in my faction. Now, this is a, you know, this is where modding becomes tough. Modding becomes tough when you really start to go with realistic what ifs, because Germany had, I would say, its largest foreign military support effort was to China. It started under the Weimar government. It continues significantly under the National Socialist government. And it's really Japan that really sort of works on Germany and pushes. Hey, thanks for following. Virus. You know, to the point that Chiang Kai-shek's son, he is basically in the German army. Very sort of privileged position of it. He gets the elite, I forget the name of it, but the elite qualification, and he goes through the course, isn't just given it, for the mountain, the sort of the elite element of the Gebirgsjäger stuff, the sort of the super course that less than 1% of the Gebirgsjäger troops go on and get the achievement. He gets that one. He also gets, I think, a marksmanship badge for high quality marksmanship, and he goes through Panzer School, and he, for the military, though unopposed, invasion of Czechoslovakia, he is commanding a tank platoon, Panzer ones, I believe, but he's commanding a German tank platoon. This is Chiang Kai-shek. It's his adopted son, and so obviously he speaks fluent German. And he's in, you know, basically in the German army being trained up. And so he, you know, in 1938, notice, 1938, well after the Sino-Japanese War has broken out, he is still in the German army, still fighting, and goes into not the Sudeten time, but going into, or is that even 39? But the actual military invasion of Czechoslovakia driving into Prague. I don't know that his tank group gets all the way to Prague, but he is part of the invasion. Now, already at this point, though, there was a major German mission to China. You know, military advisors, selling military equipment. lots of trade going on. That has been recalled. Now, I know of a very interesting, because I collect photos for possible events, up in Shanghai, when the U.S. is reinforcing. I know the history, Uncharted. When the U.S. is reinforcing its garrison at Shanghai for the international zones, it particularly uses the I don't know if it's the Hamburg American line or one of the docks. It's a German dock that it's using to unload its troops in Shanghai. This is after the war is broken out, because it is a German dock and it has a huge swastika flag painted on the roof of this dock, meaning big red. It's a covered dock area. It's a building without walls on it, basically. It's a big roofed-in area, huge red flag field with the white and swastika and it's all black and white, but you can tell this. So the American troops are unloading on a dock that is clearly marked as, hey, this is a Nazi dock, don't bomb us, Japanese, because Germany is being friendly with Japan, but also saying that this is a German dock, not a Chinese dock. And the U.S. doesn't have these, because the U.S. doesn't try to, it doesn't have territory. It doesn't want territorial concessions. It wants open market concessions, but it's reinforcing its element of the garrison. I think partially because Britain is down, because of the war, Britain is downscaling some of its garrisons in Shanghai area. So Germany has this, and this is dealing with China. Germany has this significant relation with China. Now, I did do the anti-Comintern Pact, most assuredly. Against the United States in response to playing this series of programs. Yes, I know the U.S. does declare war against the United States. Absolutely, it does. But you've already sort of signed, and I don't know if I signed the tripartite pact, but how, this should be a player's decision. Now the U.S. Japan will declare war on Malaysia. Yeah, okay. But the mere fact that Japan is at war with the U.S. and Britain, does that mean that it's going to be at war with Europe and Germany, well, with the Axis? Axis as opposed to the tripartite pact. And so, yeah, well, with Hearts of Iron 4, you can have multiple wars going at the same time. You can have the Sino-Japanese war that America joins, and you can have the war in Europe that America doesn't join, because there was huge feeling of, we don't want to be another European war in the U.S. at the time. That was a real thing. And the only thing that really changed all of that was Japan attacking. Now, we're not at war with the Soviet Union yet, and that does figure into all of this. I don't know. This is really hard, and I'm not saying that this is easy or I know the right answer to this, Uncharted, or the viewers. Since in the same faction as they will join, yeah. Because I could see a situation here. And again, I'm not saying it's wrong to force it into the war. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just going, how can you go and say, hey, I'm Germany. I don't, okay, now maybe because I did the anti-Comintern pact, which should better spell out that you're in alliance with Japan and you can't get the fuck out of it. Because I didn't see that in the description. Now, I'm not saying it isn't there, but I didn't see that in the description. And maybe I accepted the tripartite pact, but I thought I rejected the tripartite pact with Japan when it asked me to do that. I'm pretty sure I did. Now the video record would show, but I'm not absolutely sure because I'm playing just Saturdays and it's been a while. So like I say, there isn't a significant sole answer, but how can you separate these two wars? You should be able to do so. How could Germany separate these two wars? If you're guaranteeing Japan and Japan guarantees you. Look at, I understand the guarantee. But it's anti-Comintern pact. Let's see. Effects give event anti-Comintern pact. I don't know. Because the anti-Comintern pact wasn't meant to be a blanket guarantee against all attack. It was specifically focused against the Soviet Union, and for in Japan's case, it was because of Manchukuo and Korea, and the idea that if the Soviet Union either directly or indirectly attacks them, indirectly by like supporting the communists in an insurgency, it would kick in. So again, I'm not. This isn't a. It's a tripartite pact. Japanese focus, I believe. Yes, and I remember that there was a pop-up. I thought again, I'm just going off memory, and I very well could be wrong. Very well could be wrong. I thought I declined signing the tripartite pact with Japan. I thought I did, but maybe I didn't. But if I did, why the hell aren't they in my faction? Anyway, they're in this East Asian co-prosperity sphere. You can argue that Japan never does enter the Axis in a way, in a direct way, but hell, you could also argue Italy doesn't too. But so I'm trying to think here. If Germany could have a good propaganda lever of anti-colonialism. And sell it on that, because if you're, and I'm looking at the American people, does the American people have any appetite to support the British colonial empire? I would say largely no. Now, so if you're directly attacking Australia, an Anglo nation, it's not about race, it's about Anglo, because America is an Anglo country. I don't care what modern people want to say about America, it's still an Anglo country. Like Canada, like Australia, like New Zealand. It's an Anglo country. And the left is going to get more and more upset as we see more and more bad stuff happening, particularly to South Africa, because South Africa is an Anglo country. So is Rhodesia, but we still had the belief in possible fairness in Africa. Yeah, I signed it. Well, if I signed it, then I signed it. Then, okay. Well, then, yeah, if I signed the tripartite pact with them, then yes, that is more appropriate. Because absolutely, it happened in history, yeah, because I know the history of it. I wasn't sure whether I did. Now, should Japan be in the Axis? I'm thinking. Yeah, they were and they weren't, and I hear you on that. That's why I'm thinking about this because you know I could just easily go yes, boom, this is it. By the end of the war in Europe, you know, by that stage, I would say they were. I would say they were. Germany is trying its best by that point to transfer every bit of technology it can to Japan to help Japan fight. And yeah, I get the sphere of influence. And I do get the idea that Japan does not go to war with the Soviet Union. I don't. It's a tough question for me. I will accept. Good. So we now have docking rights. Yeah, I don't know. The simplistic answer is to say yes, but I don't know. Because we see the Soviet Union coming into the war as soon as it feels it can without, you know, worrying about Europe. So I don't know. It's a close. Well, we're going to end the episode here, not the stream, but the episode. So I want to thank those watching. Made it this far. Thank you so much. See you next time for more. Yes, more Hearts of Iron. Okay, yeah, I'm just gonna save this here, and we're gonna make another episode. Okay. Yeah. I don't know. You know, it's tough. It's really tough because you have the situation of world conditions change. Here's the thing, and this is the thing that I think is important here. Hear me out, everybody, including Uncharted. Okay. This is a reasonable condition, and I'm looking at here, is a reasonable condition for Japan going to war with America. Meaning they haven't defeated China, but nor have they lost completely in China. And I'm presuming the U.S. is putting embargoes on Japan of steel, which should be a critical problem for Japan. Yes, they're getting a lot of steel from Manchukuo, but it's not enough. It just ain't enough. Especially, and if you don't know this, viewers, the Navy knows that if it goes to war with the U.S., it will most likely lose unless it can sink the American fleet rapidly and effectively, and then be able to present a suitable peace agreement with the United States. In the long term, it knows it's going to lose. It knows this. And Admiral Isasoku Yamamoto had spent a few years in America. Okay, he's educated in America for a while. He literally, I think, drives and hitchhikes around America. I mean, like, here in Texas, wherever. He's traveling all over America. So it's not like he just got on a, because people aren't hardly flying, but not like he just got off a boat, took a train to, from San Francisco, because that was sort of the major port, somewhere back east, and spent time in Washington, D.C. and New York, and then did the opposite. No, he's traveling around here. I know he's traveling around Texas. I think sometimes he's, just not hitchhiking so much, but just, train trips, getting rides from people, people who know him, as well as maybe driving around on his own. So he speaks English enough to hang out in America. I'm not saying he speaks English fluently or anything, but because I just quite honestly don't know, but enough that he can just hang out in areas of America where no one's speaking Japanese. And doing okay. So he is the main player, not the guy in charge actually, but the main player in the Japanese Navy. So he knows long term America is going to defeat Japan. So what is it that the Army offers to Japan, to the Navy, to convince the Navy to go to war with the United States? Steel. They offered a significant increase to the steel allotments to the Navy. So the Navy's trying to build its ships. It's the major thing that's slowing up naval production in Japan is not the lack of shipyards. It's like, hey, yeah, we just don't have the steel to complete this ship and these other 5 ships over here. Well, we've got some steel coming in this month, and we're doing some work, but we don't have enough steel. So Japan, yes, oil is critical. Absolutely. Abso-freaking-lutely. And there is an oil embargo, I believe, by 41, by sometime in 41. And there's definitely a steel embargo as well. And so Japan cannot buy or get enough steel out of its resources. Manchukuo and whatever in Japan. There's also one of these little islands here, I think, is generating some steel. So it can't get enough steel. So the Army says, instead of building rifles, tanks, artillery pieces, we'll give you more steel if you go to war with the U.S. And the Navy finally says yes, because the Navy thinks it can sink the American fleet and then do a peace conference with America at some point. Because see, they're going off their experience with Russia, because they sink Russia's fleet here. Russia sails their fleet all the way, I know this is sort of history lesson, all the way from here, all the way around, all the way around, all the way around. Now, the first engagement Russia has with the Japanese is over here. Now, of course, the Japanese weren't here. I think it was here. Maybe it was out here, but it's somewhere around here. The Russian fleet thinks it spots the Japanese fleet and starts engaging some ships. There's no Japanese ships anywhere in Europe, but they think they see it. Chinafil has a great, I think it's a 2-part series on it, on the fleet, but it sails all the way around up here, sails all the way up through here, and gets to here, and gets sunk. great achievement for Russia to sail its fleet, but it eventually, gets sunk. And then there's also a land war going on up here as well. But then after the fleet gets sunk, they had sunk the sort of East Asiatic Russian fleet earlier. But once that fleet gets sunk, then they're able to do a peace agreement with Russia. This is in 1905 or thereabouts. So it thinks it can repeat that. Now, of course, it really, really pisses off America and Yamamoto as soon as he hears that his attack on Hawaii, Pearl Harbor, was a surprise attack. Not just, hey, we didn't know they were coming today. We didn't know we were at war with you. As soon as he hears this, he knows he's lost the war. He knows he's lost the war. Yeah, completely embargoed. Yeah, good. And that's the way it should be. And so he knows that there is no way he's going to win this war. Even before that, he says, I can give you 18 months of victories. After that, I can't really guarantee anything. We're probably going to lose. So before he's attacking, he knows he has like 18 months that he thinks he can sink the American fleet, grab up all kinds of territory, and then go, okay. Time out. Can we do a peace agreement? And then they would go, okay, well, we'll give you the Philippines back. We may even give Britain, Singapore back, but we're keeping the East Indies. Oh, and you'll allow us to buy steel. You'll stop your embargo. Give back a bunch of stuff to his people just to be in a strong bargaining position. That's what he thinks. That's the goal. But as soon as he hears that it was a surprise attack, he knows America's pissed. He knows Japan has lost the war. Now, he's, as a loyal son of his nation, he's going to do his best. He's just going to do his best, whatever that means. Best for his soldiers, best for his nation. He's going to do his best. But he knows it's done. It's over. It's lost. And if he could, I'm sure in my bones that if he could have gone, okay, we surrender. We're done. We're surrender. We'll leave Korea. We'll leave Taiwan. We'll leave all of China. Please leave us a couple of these islands out here. But we're all going to home to Japan. He would have done it. He would have, because he's a loyal son of his nation and knows that the might and fury of America is going to come onto his people and crush them. He knows this. And so he would have immediately done a the condition is you don't occupy Japan, and we get to bring all of our, we'll sink our fleet, we'll come home. He would have done that. I believe that. But he knows the reality with Tojo in charge. He knows the reality that is not going to happen. He would have done it. I don't know how much of the other, because most of the other high-ranking Japanese naval officers, because have not really been to America. There's been a few. And the guy who writes the book Japanese Destroyer Captain, who was a Japanese destroyer captain, Hiro, I forget his name. I read his book, great book. It's translated into English. He had visited America. One of his prized possessions was a watch he bought in New York City when he was visiting in the early 1930s as a cadet on a cadet training vessel kind of thing that was going around, I believe. But he had just barely visited America, seen, there's really big city, kind of thing. Not like Yamamoto, who's traveled all across America and has met a lot of Americans and supposedly was a very good poker player. And so he knows how Americans think. He's not an American, but he knows how Americans think. And so he knows, and he's a military person, naval particularly, but he's a military person, so I'm sure he's read like the history. And the Japanese Navy is a Mahanian Navy. Alfred Thayer Mahan is an American historian and naval theorist who teaches, who's also a naval officer as well. Doesn't serve in any, I don't think in any, too old or too young or not in the American Civil War, and nothing does. So he's not never like in really. I mean, he may have captained a ship or something, but he's not like a major naval officer. He's mostly goes in and training at the the Naval Academy, but writes Influence is the short name of his book. And of course, the U.S. Navy to this day is still a Mahanian Navy. I don't know if Japan would, but Japan gets the book, translates it into Japanese, and they use it as their Bible. So both navies are trained in the U.S. Mahanian Navy traditions. So, but Yamamoto is definitely enough of a military guy who's reading about the American Civil War, who's traveled to the American South, who knows what's going on, who knows the American psyche. So he knows that once that surprise happens, Japan, it's done. It's just how is it going to end, and what can he do during it? Okay. I know I've gone on to this lecture, but whatever. So that's the plan. It doesn't work out. So yeah, Japan needs its steel. Which wants to get from the U.S. Japan needs oil, which it wants to get from the Dutch East Indies. So it's quite reasonable that Japan attacks in these current conditions. Germany, and here's where the thing gets interesting. It's like 4 days later or whatever. Germany after Japan declares war, Germany declares war on the USA for multiple reasons. And definitely some of them are, or one of them is, the inevitability. They feel that eventually America's coming in now. And since they think America's coming in now anyways, at some point, it might as well declare war and try to sink as much of the shipping as it can with submarines. There are some wacky ideas of joint naval operations which never come off. So Germany's in. What would have happened if Germany hadn't declared war? And one thing about these games is, and I totally want historically based games, but does that mean that you have to make every single mistake that a nation makes in the game? Here's what I've often thought would happen if Hitler doesn't declare war. Japan attacks the United States. The United States is now at war with Japan alongside Britain and Australia. But it's a Japan first strategy, not a Europe first strategy. America politically is fixated on dealing with Japan, who's attacked it. Now, I think FDR could sell, after this is started and kicked off, can sell to the America that Germany is both an ally of Japan, who's currently also at war with the British Empire, and a similar sort of threat to world peace and world stability that Japan is proving to be. Japan isn't just, it's gobbling up some little Asian territories out here. It's attacked and occupied Indochina, which is a French colony, and it does actually attack. Not that there's any major battles, but there are bullets, and Japan's fleet does shell some French positions. They give in pretty quick, and the French army stays in occupation and whatnot. But it's sort of a joint occupation between Japan and the French for Indochina. But they've got that, and they're eventually, of course, they attack U.S. and British territories. So, Japan isn't just this isn't just some foreigners beating up on foreigners somewhere out in the wilds of the world. This is a serious problem, and so I think FDR could sell the idea that Japan is behaving badly and is attacking people randomly, countries, whatever, randomly, and Germany's doing the same thing, as well as being an ally. So we need to go to war with Germany as well. But one, it would be a Pacific First theater, and two, there would be a lot less enthusiasm in America for the war in Europe. Now, what does that mean other than a Pacific First strategy? I'm not quite sure, but I don't know it, because there's the whole America First campaign, which is really primarily an anti-war campaign. It is only secondarily a sort of a sympathetic to, well, something of an anti-Semitic element. It's something of an anti-communist element to the American First campaign. It's not really a pro-fascist thing because, hey, if you're looking for pro-fascist stuff, look at FDR and the American government at this time. Yeah, before Italy gets involved in the war, there's a lot of support for fascism, and it's based primarily in the Democratic Party, not in the American First campaign. I know people want to jump on that post-war, but really the America First campaign is not anti-fascist. It's anti-communist, and it sees Germany as, a bulwark against communism. And there is some anti-Semitic kind of stuff, but it isn't like the hate stuff that the Nazis are doing. It's more like, yeah, the Jews are dragging us into another war. They're war profiteers, because there's war profiteers from World War I, but they're seeing it as a Jewish sort of thing. So it's somewhat anti-Semitic, but it's mostly, I would say, just we don't need people dying in another war kind of thing. At least that's how I would interpret it. So I would interpret, okay, what I would interpret is war support in America would be lower. I guess what I'm saying is war support would be lower if it takes America to declare war on Germany and not Germany declaring war on the U.S. That's it. I guess that's where it is. And I don't know what it is for America, but Germany declaring war on America should increase the war support. Germany not declaring war on America should have America coming in anyways, but have lower war support. That is it. Because I can make an argument that FDR could get America into the war, and I think it would have done it so eventually, but the war support would have been much, much lower. So that's it. Okay, well, we're going to make another episode here now, but that's just my thoughts on all of this, that this triggered, because I was sort of trying to stay out of the Asian war. Oh, I figured America was coming in eventually. That wasn't, but it was more of like, how long can I delay it? My thoughts there. Okay. Welcome back, fellow armchair generals. This is Gamer 1745 here, and good news for you viewers. I've just had a long talk to the viewers on stream, the few that are stayed around for it, about things. So we don't have to do that now. So we're going to play the game. United Kingdom, yes, U.S. We're all in the war together now. Okay, what? Okay. Oh, hey, we're all in the war together now. Yes. Oh, where did I just click off? I hate doing that. Okay. Let's look here. Not yet able to deploy those. I want to turn off. Okay, what I want to do here now that we really, okay. Let's see what we can do with bombing, and I just like 100. You know, in the earliest versions of this game, when you reopen this window, it would go back to just where you left off, and it won't do that in later versions. I don't know why. When I talked to the devs, they didn't seem to understand what I was talking about. So, I don't know. Okay, you come over, Britain, and go after fighters. You come over, Britain, once you get there, and come after bombers. You come over, Britain, and go after fighters and bombers. And you do both as well. Okay, not great legs on that, but good. And now we do have a green situation here. So what we're going to do here is let's put 100 of these guys. They come over here. No, I don't think they're going to do anything here because they get out strategic bomb. Oh, they could do port strikes. You do port strikes here. Okay. Now let's look at our more tactical bombers. You come over there and start bombing Britain. Now, that would be another thing, and I don't, quite honestly, I don't know how or if you can mod it to saying if you are not strategic bombing, or if you strategic bomb Britain, you're more likely to get America into the war. Let's move you to here. Or increase America's war support or something. I don't know exactly. Because the strategic bombing in Britain really did have a serious effect on the American populace and their support for Britain. Had without the strategic bombing, support for Britain, not that they wouldn't emotionally be. It's like we're already going after convoys. Nice. That they have, not that it wouldn't be a thing. Okay, it's just much more of a thing with that. Give captured aircraft to. Okay, well, let's see. Start Lend-Lease. Just give them all of those interwar fighters. Good idea. Well, this will just last a month. I'm trying to at least give them there's some volume. Okay, we'll run out of those quickly, I guess. But we'll give them some stuff. Thank you, Arno. Good suggestions. Okay, sunk an American sub that's already here. I don't know why America had subs sitting in here, but I guess it did. Okay. Algerian coast, good. Anti-shipping, good. That's the transport squadron. Well, let's move you back to here. So we have some anti-shipping in that region. Yes, more people are joining the war against us. Yes, yes. Oh, good, we're taking out some subs. Fall of Hong Kong. Okay, come on. They're attacking there. They're going to be reinforcements soon. They're coming that way. They're coming that way. It'll take a while. They're coming in to reinforce. They're good. They're coming down that way. Non-aggression pact. Okay. Cuba. Come on, I really get to hate all of that. Those pop-ups. Okay, pincer movement. Counterattack. There we go.
Befehle. Angetreten. Abstand
Yeah,
halten.
no, you don't attack alone. Panama joins the Allies. Oh, we've gotten a lot of action up here. Okay. Some more subs, more subs. They either got here very fast or they were already in theater for some reason. Maybe based out of the USA. Or maybe they had, the USA had basing permission here and was already doing some sort of neutrality patrols. No, I don't know. Yes, we're doing this for Arno so he can see as well as you can what's happening on the naval front. See, I really like naval air power. It's flexible. We may lose some aircraft, but we seem to do fairly well. We're doing okay out there. Okay, well now that we have this here,
Bereit.
they can join that attack. 80 joins the Allies, yay. I don't know. I don't think one, it's we can give them older equipment. We have 100,000. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I hate when I do this and it doesn't just pop up. We give them universal carriers. No artillery I see that is really well. Yeah, we don't have extra artillery available. Let's give them these. Yeah, we'll just give them that. Yeah, stronger allies would be nice, most assuredly.
Achtung!
We'll drive for Addis Ababa, you come down to there. You come back. Come down this way. We're driving that way to Addis Ababa. I'll select once. I think though we will, because of that, we'll let this continue here.
Ausrücken! Befehle? Bereit?
Did they get a lot of French stuff from Germany? I didn't know that. The Italians, that is. Oh, we are definitely sinking there. Oh, they sunk Italian convoy. Lost some fighters. A lot of inconclusive operations. Ooh. Well, with the help of the Italian surface fleet and whatnot, we sunk 3 British destroyers for the loss of only 5 of our fighters. Well, we're sinking. We're being sunk. We're being sunk. And we're sinking some of theirs. Great. Okay, they're advancing, they're coming into there. Good. Now that these guys are here, we will
Ausrücken!
attack them. Non-aggression attack from Puyi. Okay. Okay, I think we have the basing for it. Let's do another. Okay, we can do 100 of these guys down here. Round attack, and let's bring in some more fighters. Okay, so we have a yellow situation over. And we have more. Basing ability there. Well, let's do 300 more fighters. Again, I like to have them at just 100, so when I want to move them around, they'll be organized up, experienced. Okay, you just go after enemy fighters. Come over here, just go after enemy fighters. And you just go after enemy fighters. Focus on winning the air war once you get there. Improved Enigma, very nice. Collaboration with Japan. Okay, we're January 42. We're looking at a spring or early summer offensive there. So I'm just trying to see what, if any, thing we should do. Approach Turkey. Okay, prepare Barbarossa. Eastern Lebensraum. Activate. So we could do this. 30 days. Infrastructure. Okay, I think that's what we want to do, because then we could do this, which unlocks decision, activates Barbarossa. 70 days. So let's do the prepare first. So now we're really heading down that road. Okay, mentioning that. Okay, we have, well, a fair amount of men in reserve. Okay, we just got. Let's look here. We need more anti-tank. We need more artillery, more motorized. Okay, so we're not doing any more tank units, even though we have tanks. Those will just fill losses. We need more bombers. Okay, well, we're getting our oil somewhat better. Okay, well, I'm not going to increase the size of our building up of our army, because we are so bad off right now on artillery as it is. I feel with this mod I'm constantly chasing artillery. Do I have enough of it? Where can I get more? Well, we've done the one event, I thought, for France, so we're still building at 24 days. Taking away a lot of civilian factors. Let's see how that turns out before we can wait 24 days. The US attacks us now. We're just not going to go to war with Russia. Okay, stop attacking. We gotta be a little more coordinated. Why would Juba be anything? Juba is the capital of modern-day South Sudan, yes. least I think it is. Well, now that we are closer, and that we are in 42 for a 43, and we have this, okay. 207 days. Resource gain efficiency. That's what we want, which will hopefully help us with our oil situation. Hello, Lewis. It's either this or it's black ice. I'm really frustrated with elements of black ice. This mod has its problems that I've been talking about, but is really trying to be a good historical mod. Really trying it. Okay, you change direction because you're just not getting there. You come down here. Where are you going? You're going to there. So this is right now in my top 2 for historically based. I mean, you know, there's Kaiserreich, which is great, but it's Kaiserreich. It's not trying to be World War II. So, okay, you get on trains. Come down here. So World Ablaze is up there. Okay, we prepared Barbarossa. Non-aggression pact, sure thing. Okay, we're going to do Eastern Lebensraum, which will unlock the decision to activate Operation Barbarossa, so it's still in my hands just on what day we want to do it. Fall of Manila. Let's take a look at... Okay, so they've done the landing down there. We'll see how Japan can do. Well, we're getting a lot of action here in the central Mediterranean by American submarines. We're sinking. Wow, 3 in that one battle, 2 in that battle. 4 in that battle, wow. How is our air campaign going? Okay, well, we're bombing strategically Britain over here. Hopefully that will be useful. They have a lot of enemy fighters. Okay. Type 9 class submarines. The good ones are here. So let's... We'll improve our heavy fighters. Now, what we need to do is come over here and just hit for all of these subs a +1, so it just makes that sub, and then we will convert over to Type 9s once we get them. Oh, yeah, we'll finish that. That's fine. Okay, they have a huge number of fighters over Britain, and we're trying to win the air war. Well, yeah. I think port strike would be better for dealing with Valletta. Maybe I should be doing that. I'm not sure, but maybe. Yeah, we want to do advanced computing. We're going to do port strikes. Hopefully against Valletta here. Got a destroyer, very good. Okay, well that hasn't been successful. Well, we went. There we go, heavy hitting. Get the airbase. We're heading down to Juba, good.
Bereit zum Ausrücken. Ausrücken.
Okay, now we can start building Type 9s. And I think we're going to go with the G next. Now, what is our current? Okay, we have plenty of tanks, support, and otherwise. So we're going to convert over to the newest model. Here, I guess, yeah. Minor hit there. We're just going to keep producing these for a while. Numbers are still a thing. Hello, Base Slam. One recon plane, the Condor. Wonder why they did not check the other countries. Not quite sure I understand your question. One, I don't think the Condors are a recon plane, so don't quite understand that. The Luftwaffe had multiple reconnaissance planes, so I'm not understanding that entirely, because we can see here, do they have reconnaissance class aircraft here with this mod? They had the Owl, I believe it was called. They had the Freezer Stork, which is a really light aircraft. That's a reconnaissance airplane. Do we not have reconnaissance aircraft in the mod yet? Oh, and in this mod, I don't know why, because we have these are naval bombers, long-range naval bombers, as opposed to short-range naval bombers. That seems, yeah, I don't know why. If Uncharted is still here, he's the guy to ask. You might want to tag him and see if he's still here, because he is the developer. And of course, looking at Germany's sort of secret reconnaissance program, I forget the squadron name. Basically, they had a bunch of different bombers, light bombers mostly, I think, that they scrubbed. They removed all external markings. They got rid of bomb racks. Arno, we're having enough problems with lack of air. I'm not adding strategic bombers. We need more production as it is. What I'm trying to do now is get these guys here and I'm not doing well at occupying territories, and we see a long list of stuff that's not doing well. This is just an early look for me, not like I'm playing the game well. I need to better build occupation units, divisions, before starting the war to go in and occupy better, and so I am not doing well at dealing with all of the sabotage effects, because mostly not bombing now, and to keep all these things operating. So things aren't going well, and this is my bad playing more so than anything to do with the mod, I think. But yeah, no, I'm not adding another whole area thing that is just most likely a problem. Strategic bombing.
Unter Beschuss. Ziel anvisiert.
Don't know if it was their armor was too strong. Well, we'll get these guys in here soon. And these guys will be down here. Death of Fritz Todt. Okay. I don't like... Okay, well, now this is better. Factory output 10% up. That is good. I would have Todt have more resource extraction capabilities. But, yeah, factory output by 10%. As completed appointed. Albert Speer. Is that a national focus or a decision? Oh, we'll wait for build the wall here for a day. Okay. Okay, so we're getting coastal fort level 1 with that. Arno, answer your question about the Atlantic wall with regards to France. See if it goes up in places like Cherbourg. Well, 5 in Cherbourg, 1 here. Don't know what it was before. Okay, 7 in Calais, and Dieppe 4. So greater in port cities. Oh, El Salvador's joined the war. We're lost. All is lost. Type 9s. Move them to there. Yes, El Salvador joined the Allies. We know about that. British operative capture. Helen Campbell. Let's do the MG42 in Panzerfaust. And let's save the game. I want to thank you all for watching. Of course, I think we're going to end the episode and probably the live stream here now. I will be back. Next up, Benelux Atlantic. Well, we'll be seeing about that. That's likely. We have a lot of political action points. I will be playing War Thunder tomorrow. Hope you guys will want to join me. Will be grinding for the event, but that just means playing anything rank 2 and over. So, yeah, so long as we're not jumping down to rank 1 vehicles, you guys can join. And we'll be doing that tomorrow and Thursday. Oh, we'll be streaming for Slytherin. I forget what it is. Oh, it's either Armor Brigade or Panzer Corps. I forget. I think it's one of those two. So, and then of course next week we'll be doing the cooperative game and co-op game, and back to this on Saturday. No, I'm tired. My voice is starting to my throat is getting a little rough, so I'm going to take a throat lozenge thing to help that out. So I need to rest my voice and whatnot, I think. So thank you, Arno, for your enthusiasm. I really do appreciate it, but I think we're going to end this here. So see you next time for more Hearts of Iron, everyone, and see you tomorrow on live stream if you want to join me as well. I do appreciate it. I hope Arno will get in his Panzer with me. So see you all.